all, this is me Fatima Aafreen, Assistant Professor, Department of Nutrition Dietetics, SFR College for Women, Sivahasi. So, we have already seen number of videos and for today we are going to see about resource management. So, let us get into the video. Okay. So, today's topic is resource management. So, before getting into the topic, we are going to see what is resources. So, resources are something, it may be a thing or mean that is needed for us to satisfy our goals and needs. So, management, that is nothing but the process of using what we have, that is the resources to achieve what we want in life. So, resources are just the means for satisfying our needs, and management is the process of utilizing and using the resources to achieve what we want in life. So, types of resources. So, coming into the types of resources, firstly we have seen the resources are the means to satisfy our needs. So, types of resources, there are two types, they are human resources and non-human resources. Human resources are those that are possessed by us and that are utilized by the person. The individual has all those resources in him and he utilizes it. Those are called as the human resources, whereas non-human resources are completely external to the individual. They are external to the individual, it is not from the individual, whereas human resources are possessed and utilized by the individual, where non-human resources are external to the individual, that are possessed and utilized by them to achieve the goals. So, next, the types of resources in detail with example. So, as we saw, human resources are possessed by individual and non-human resources are external to the individual. So, human resources are time, energy, skill, ability that the individual possesses, that person possesses, whereas non-human resources are the money, house, material goods, community facilities and all those assets the human gets from the environment externally. So, characteristics of resources. So, what are the characteristics that resources should possess to help us achieve the goal we need in our life? So, the characteristics are resources are useful. So, firstly what we are getting it should be in useful amounts, and the second one is resources are limited in supply. So, whatever the resource it is, maybe the human or non-human resource, it is limited in its supply. Thirdly, resources are interrelated. One resource is related to another one. And fourthly, resources have alternate uses. So, single resource can be used in different forms in different needs. Thirdly, resources can be substituted. One resource can be substituted to the other for its use. So, we will see those in details. First, resources are useful. All resources are in need to fulfill our needs and wants, so that they are called as resources, of course, right. So, for example, asset, house or jewelry, they are in need to satisfy our needs. Jewelry needs to satisfy our standards, they prove our standards. House, that provides us shelter, whereas we use transportation or community facilities just to make use of it. For example, if the school is available, we will be getting education from that. If a transportation bus or car is available, we will be using it to reach some place we want. As well as ability, talking about the human resources ability, if a mother or a sister knows to stitch or sew cloth, they can make use of that ability, that skill, and she can do her home needs. She can satisfy her needs of the family members to get clothes stitched on time, and it can save the money. Okay? So, whatever the resource it is, it should be useful. Secondly, resources are limited in supply. So, every resource is limited, whatever it is, human or non-human, it has some time limits. For example, for a day there is only 24 hours. If we are getting salary, it is also in a fixed amount, we won't get it more. Also that salary will be utilized for some purpose in a fixed amount. Okay. Supply of energy is also limited. So, in this manner we should use the effective use of particular resource can bring about a very good management. Okay. So, to get maximum benefit, we must use the resources and conserve them for further use. Thirdly, resources are interrelated. So, one resource is related to another one. For example, if we are in need of using a machine or anything, there is a need of time. We should note the time the energy, the fuel or energy that we are going to use for that particular mission, the skill to operate that mission. So, all these resources, both human and non-human resources, must be utilized in an interrelated way, so that we can use that equipment and the mission and we can fulfill the need. Okay. So, we will realize that all resources are used at same time, so that they are called as resources are utilized in interrelated way. Okay. Next, resources have alternate uses. So, most of the resources are known for its alternate uses. For example, we can do a single activity in that particular time. Simultaneously, for example, our mother will be doing all activities simultaneously for us. We will be just getting ready for the school or college, but our mother will be cooking, she will be making all the things, and she will get ready for our father, for me, for children and everything like that. For example, our savings or salary will be used for purchasing the house or buying new jewelry, or it can be used for higher studies. So, single resource have alternate uses in our lives. So, thirdly, resources can be substituted. So, one resource can be substituted for further goals. To achieve the same goal, we can use one resource or other. For example, to reach our school, we can use our time and energy and we can go by walk, or else we can spend our money and travel by bus and reach on time. So, it is different, right? For example, we are working women, so we can use homemade foods, we can spend our time and pre-prepare foods and we can present it, or else we can spend money and buy from shops. Okay. So, any resources can be substituted for any other thing. One resource can be substituted for many other use. Okay. So, we have seen the characteristics of resources. Now, let us get into the management process. Management is nothing but the process of using what we have, that is, what we have is the resources to achieve what we want. What we want is the goals. So, management is nothing but the process of using what we have to achieve what we want in life. So, using of the resources in a fruitful way to achieve our goals in a fruitful way. Okay. Management helps to reach our goal and achieve what we want is that exact goal and utilize the resources properly. So, effective utilization of resources is the must thing. Okay. Make use of life more systematically. Systematically, if we lead our life, it will increase our standards and helps to achieve the goals. Achieve a better standard of life, increases the efficiency in work situations. So, we can, if we plan our work, we will be making it in more systematic way and it will lead to the better understanding and better finishing of that work and avoid wastage of resources. So, resources can be used in the more effective way and the wastage can be removed. Okay. Next, steps in management process. These are the steps that we are going to undergo in the management process. These steps should be followed in an hierarchical order so that we can make a effective management. Firstly, planning, second is organizing, third is controlling and fourth one is evaluating step. So, first, the step of planning is nothing but it includes and it consists of thinking in advance of what we are going to do. It is like pre-planning, pre-preparing, listing out what are the things we are going to include our plan, what are the things we wanna include in our managemental process or comes under the planning process. Since things have to be done first, which things should be followed next. So, hierarchical order of planning is done in this first step. Okay. If you are going to make any arrangements, if you are planning for a trip, what are the steps it should be started, from where to where it should go on. The sequence of the steps are planned in this first step, so that if we plan it in a better way, we can get a fruitful result. So, besides following a sequence, we are also in need to make flexible plans. So, there are many situations that happens unexpectedly. So, to meet up with it, to make last moment changes without any confusions or any hesitations, or we will get panic because our plan is going to flop. So, to avoid all these circumstances, we should have a flexible plan and some alternatives too. So, steps in planning. So, we should give the attention to the steps involved in planning. They are listing activities, sequencing activities, providing flexibility for any adjustment. As we saw, we should also have an alternate plan so that we can make some flexible changes. Firstly, we should list all the needed things, what are all the resources we are in need, which should next sequencing, which one should take the first place, which one should take the next place. So, we should sequence it hierarchically, and finally, we should also have some adjustments and flexible plans. So, steps we are planning, what are the steps we should have in mind, what is to be done, who will do it, how it will be done, when it will be done, what resource will be used. So, these are including the human and non-human resources, what are the time, how will be done, what things we will be using it. So, these are the things we should have in mind before planning. So, organizing, the next step, organizing, is nothing but the means assembling resources and fixing responsibility to carry out the plan. So, we are assembling the resources. So, we have planned it, now we are assembling the resource accordingly. So, organizing ensures that all the plan works get done. So, this is the sequence. So, at that time that work should be done. So, this is the organizing process. There is proper distribution of work, work gets finished on time, energy and other important resources are saved, planning is successful. So, this is the organizing. After planning, this step is so crucial. Next, after organizing, controlling, the main step where we will be putting a plan into action. The plans we have made and the organization we have done is now get into the plan as actions. So, for proper progress of that plan, we have to check the plan accordingly. The management will be fruitful only when the plan is monitored correctly. So, because the activities must be moved according to the plan, so we should carry out it as we planned and organized earlier. So, putting off the plan into action is controlling. Okay. Thirdly, evaluating. Evaluating is nothing but the checking of the process of our plan and making corrective actions. So, our plan may happen as we plan, or it may have some delays or some confusions. So, we have made some flexible changes. So, all these are in need to be checked after we complete that process, so that it will be helpful for us to check our mistake and improve our work and product. Further, if we are going on through that same situation, we will never repeat that mistake. So, thus evaluation helps us to understand our weakness and mistakes we have done earlier, and we will check to it and we will be conscious of it, where we won't repeat it in our future processings, right. So, evaluation is the very crucial step that everyone should follow after we are implementing our plans. So, this is also known as the feedback process. Okay. So, feedback, it may be positive or negative, but it will be giving us some lessons so that we won't repeat it further. So, finally, ways to maximize the satisfaction. So, whatever the process is, however we plan, we should have the satisfaction in our work. Though it may be, it may happen as we plan, or it may have some changes, but those changes can be flexibly taken into account. So, how we can get the maximum utilization of what we have done with the resources we have and the management process we have implemented is identify all the available resources. So, firstly, before planning, we should make and identify all the available resources. We should make use of the right amount of resources. We should not make overuse or over exploit the resources or demand of some resources. We should not make such things. We should not make confusions. We should make use of only the right amount of resources. Substitute the less expensive resource for the more expensive one. As we saw, resources are substitutable. So, we can make a correct, we can select a correct one and we can opt for the less expensive resources. Next, develop the habit that can enhance the use of resources. So, cultivate practices to increase the availability of resources. Learn to share resources so that it won't deprive other resources. Do not waste resources. So, effectively make use of the resources. 3 R's to maximum satisfaction, that is reduce, reuse, recycle. So, reduce the use of what we are going to take. Don't always use expensive resources, reuse the resources, also recycle the resources for further plans. So, this will help to attain the maximum satisfaction. So thank you for listening, and let's stay tuned, let's see in the next video. Thank you.